Chapter 4 The Chateau d'If. The captain led Edmund across a courtyard, and into an unheated building. Its windows were small and barred. As the captain passed, soldiers stood at attention. After walking down 2 flights of stairs, Edmund was motioned into a bare room, with a table and a cot as its only furnishings. After the captain shut the door, Edmund heard a bolt being drawn. He was a prisoner in a cell. But Edmund was not worried by his situation, for the assistant prosecutor himself had declared him innocent. Edmund sat down on the cot to wait. As the hours passed, Edmund consulted his watch more and more anxiously. He was especially concerned that his father and Mercedes would be worrying about him. He kept reminding himself of the kindness and understanding that Villefort had shown. Finally, 6 hours later, the bolt was drawn. 4 armed soldiers summoned him out. Edmund stepped eagerly into the corridor, but was not led back to Villefort's office, as he expected. Instead, he was led upstairs and into the dark street where a carriage waited. Certain that there must be another mistake, Edmund hesitated to climb in. But the soldiers gave him a shove, and he climbed in quickly. 2 soldiers placed themselves on either side of him, and the carriage set off. Soon Edmund began to smell the sea, and he knew they were nearing the docks. In another moment the carriage stopped. Edmund was hustled out, and pushed toward a waiting rowboat, manned by 4 men. A soldier waiting on the dock appeared to be in charge. He listened to the instructions whispered by the 2 soldiers and nodded. "Where are you taking me?" asked Edmund, now very alarmed. He was sure he had been mistaken for another prisoner. "I am Edmond Dantes." "We know," said the man in charge of the boat. "Get in." He put a hand on Edmund's shoulder and forced him to jump down into the boat. He followed Edmund in, then gave the command to shove off. The only point of light Edmund could see on the water was the lighthouse, but the rowers did not strain their eyes to see in the dark. They pulled steadily and confidently, as if the course they rowed was a familiar one. After his long confinement in the small cell, Edmund was grateful to smell the fresh sea air. But why should he be in a rowboat, in the middle of the night, going he did not know where? "Where are you taking me?" he demanded angrily. "Does Monsieur Villefort know what you are doing?" These questions annoyed the man in charge, for he frowned. "Don't pretend," he answered. "You come from Marseille, don't you? Everybody knows that pile of rocks." He gestured toward a dark fortress that they were approaching. It was the only structure on the small, rocky island just outside the harbor. Edmund looked where he pointed, then turned back with a gasp. "Not the Chateau d'If! Why, that is a prison!" At this last statement the man laughed. "And you, my friend, are a prisoner." "But I am innocent of any crime," protested Edmund wildly. "I have not even had a trial. Monsieur Villefort released me." The boat scraped against stone steps. One sailor jumped out and tied the boat to a ring cemented to a massive stone wall. With a nod, the man in charge indicated that Edmund was to proceed up the steps. He did so in a daze. At the top of the steps, the man in charge kicked at a heavy door. After a wait of some minutes, the door swung open to receive their party. Another door, guarded by 2 soldiers, barred their way. After a whispered consultation with the boatman, one soldier took Edmund by the elbow and led him through the second doorway. Thus, on the 28th of February, 1815, Edmond Dantes entered the Chateau d'If.